Overnight sensations exist because one day no one knew about them, and the next day they blew up. That doesn't mean there weren't months and years of hard work and challenges they overcame before they hit a point where they were good enough and prepared enough to be discovered. You might not get your dream job overnight. As you break into this new industry, there will be challenges, months, maybe even a couple years of hard work. But remember that you are just breaking in, which is so exciting. Breaking into a new industry is dope. It's hard. Most people don't do it. And so I am so proud of you for that and just even being here to learn about how to do it and listening to this episode. We'll talk about lateral moves today. We'll talk about taking steps backwards. But remember, it's never a step backward if you are taking a step towards having the job that will make you truly fulfilled and happy in life. And as Miley Cyrus would say, the view is great, but it's the climb. So enjoy this journey, and I hope you enjoy learning about how to break into a new industry today. This is Career Composer. I'm Erin, and I'm helping you, professionals under 30, navigate your careers with a music-themed twist. I'm giving you the job search and career advice you need to get that job, but we'll also talk about music, how to balance our personal and professional lives, and figure out what we're meant to do. Ready? Let's go. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Career Composer. My name is Erin, and I am a full-time career coach in Washington, D.C., giving you the career advice that I would want for myself also in my 20s. We also talk about music here on Career Composer. And if you want the scoop on today's music recs and how overnight sensations relates to our topic of how to break into a new industry, make sure you check out The Prelude, which is a separate episode that is released as your music appetizer to the main career content, with our main episodes every other Monday. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok so you can stay connected. And I also post on LinkedIn, which is in the show notes too. Today, we are talking about overnight sensations and what we can learn from this concept in music as we talk about how to break into new industries that we may or may not have experience in. I want to talk about this because the world of work is changing every single day, and some of us are being forced to think about our industries and our experience a little differently. You might feel like you have to make an industry shift, but change can also be super exciting, especially in our 20s. And if you find yourself in this boat, look at it as an opportunity to gain new skills and experience that you hadn't even thought of before, which is what we're all supposed to be doing at this time in our lives. Yes, it's competitive out there, but changing industries is possible, and a ton of people are doing it right now, so we might as well get in on the fun. I'm telling you exactly what I would do if I were breaking into a new industry. And in preparation for this episode, I did a little field research for myself and followed all of these steps too. So I know they work. I know this is exactly what you need to be doing if you're looking to break into a new industry. Like, subscribe, leave a review if this episode is helpful to you, and let's get into it. If I were trying to break into a new industry, here's what I would do. Making an industry shift is a huge decision. So first, I am taking a moment to breathe. I'm taking a second to reflect, think about what I really want, and lay it all out on the table. You know me, my ADHD brain loves lists, so I made a list of everything that is most important to me in a job. Not all of my nice to haves, but the most important aspects of a job and company that would make me happy in this stage of my career. I wrote down what industries I would potentially be interested in, what tasks I would enjoy, what work environments I thrive in, and the job titles that I would be interested in too. I would also take this time to think about exactly why you are changing industries. Whatever the reason, pick a good one because it needs to be convincing to you and your future interviewer. This list and reminding yourself of why you're changing industries is meant to get you excited because this is amazing. You are taking this next step in your career. Having the courage and ability to change industries is so freaking cool. So let's get excited. Your next step is to find the titles of the roles you want to aim for. I know that this might sound really simple, but this part can actually take a while, and you'll likely keep coming back to the drawing board as you gain new information about this industry. So I have a few tips that are going to help you get started and really get this process moving along. Some of you might already have a job title in mind and know exactly where you want to go in your new industry, which is amazing. When you're breaking into a new industry and looking at many different types of companies, maybe locations, keep in mind that people can call the same job many different things. And you don't want to miss out on a job that's perfect for you just because it might not be the job title you thought you were supposed to look for. On LinkedIn, I always find it helpful to click on a role that sounds interesting and then scroll down past the job description and click on the button that says, see more jobs like this. You can also find job titles through searching by task. This is my favorite way to job search, especially if you're open to exploring multiple roles, even multiple industries. I would focus on what you want to do. What are the tasks that you would enjoy in a role? You will realize just how many jobs are out there that you would really enjoy, but are just advertised as something that you would never think to consider. The best way to search for jobs by task is by doing something that's called a Boolean search. A Boolean search allows you to search for roles that have specific keywords in their job titles and in their job descriptions. To do this, you want to go to your favorite job search platform and in the search bar, put quotation marks around each keyword that you are searching for, and then separate each keyword with the word "and" in between them. When I did this, I knew that if I'm changing industries, I would want to be a part of a creative team and that I absolutely love content development. So my Boolean search looked like creative and content development. I saw roles like marketing content specialist, content education specialist, and these two that would pop up were usually an awesome fit for me. And if you have LinkedIn set up to work for you in your job search, you will not only get searches that have those keywords you set, but that are also a match for your current skills and experience. Comment below or DM me to let me know if you want a full tutorial on this. I'm happy to walk you through how to set up LinkedIn. So now you should understand how to start searching for job titles. Gaining the knowledge, skills, and abilities, called KSAs, you need to advance in this new industry is just as important as the job title. When you're making an industry shift, 9 times out of 10, a lateral move should be your goal. By lateral move, I mean a role that is on the same level as your current job. And you might even need to aim for an entry-level role, especially if you're breaking into an industry that is wildly different from what you do now. A lateral move to a position in a new industry or even a step backwards is not a step backwards. It is a huge leap forward. Breaking into a new industry is difficult. You're making an industry shift likely because you want something different than you have now. Securing a position in an industry you want and that allows you to gain skills and experience that will help you grow in this industry is a huge win. So don't look at a lateral move or a technical step backwards as a step backwards. It's a step in the right direction. There's really only one mistake that you can make, and that is getting a job that's maybe in this new industry, but that doesn't allow you to gain exposure to new skills and experiences that will help you grow in the direction you want. If you're going to go through all of this effort of breaking into a new industry, maybe even taking a pay cut and make this change, be very intentional about pursuing roles that will help you grow. If you know exactly what you want to do long term and that dream job is slightly out of reach right now, another tactic is working backwards. And I'm saying backwards again because I don't know what other word to use, but you get my point that I don't mean this is a step backwards, it's a step forward, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so work backwards from your dream job that might be a little out of reach right now and look at the paths that other people have taken to obtain that role. What experience did they bring? What prior roles did they hold? And which prior role on that trajectory is attainable for you right now, given your current skills and experience? The other thing is, oh my gosh, the biggest lesson that I have learned in any job search is to know who your competition is, but especially when breaking into a new industry. What skills and experience do other people competing for this job bring to the table? And how do you stand out? That is the $1 million question. As you're stalking your competition, I also want you to take note of where are the gaps? What are job descriptions requiring that you do and do not have? What does my competition have that I do and do not have? Do you absolutely need to obtain additional certifications or education? Or are there easily accessible, less expensive, less time-consuming certifications you could gain easily and cheaply in the meantime that would help fill some of the gaps? This is also an excellent time to find some people in your new industry and reach out to them. Ask them to grab coffee or hop on a 15-minute call. Ask them what they think you are qualified for in this industry and what you can do to break in and stand out. I recently attended a conference in Philly called the National Association of Colleges and Employers, and I made an amazing connection and friend there named Andrea, who shared so much amazing information with me about her industry and what someone in my position as a career coach could do to stand out. She even offered to look at my resume and give me feedback if I decide that I do want to make a move in the future. And she also said this: connections and building a network of people who will support and vouch for you in your new industry is the single most important thing you can do for yourself when you make a transition. Even if you're not making a huge career transition, job applications are up 21% across the board. Hiring managers are desperate to find ways to differentiate between candidates. So if you have someone to vouch for you, your chances of getting a job increase exponentially. And I really must say, this in-person networking opportunity that I had at this conference, it really just reminded me of how much in-person, genuine connections are so much better than connecting online. And I really feel like I could reach out to Andrea anytime now because, yes, we chatted about work, but we also just connected as people and as friends. Please don't skip this step of talking to people in the industry. Yes, all the other tips that I'm giving you today are important, but I'm going to be honest with you, they are essentially worthless if you don't talk to people who are in your industry. They are the ones who really know how to help you and tell you how to stand out in the hiring process. I also know that it's really easy to listen to any podcast and think, this doesn't apply to me. It's also really easy to get caught in this cycle of learning, but not applying what you learn to actually execute and make strides towards achieving your goal. Don't think this advice doesn't apply to me. I'll just apply and hope the right person sees it. Not in this market. Not in this market, guys. You got to freaking do it. Go to in-person networking events, reach out to people, and ask yourself, are you truly committed to making this change? Because if you are, networking is the best thing you can do. As I was doing my research for this episode, another thing I thought about was what roles or industries exist where my current knowledge and expertise could be helpful. So if you know you want to make a change, but you're not really sure where to go from here, I would think about that. Let's say that I wanted to do creative content development in a full-time role, maybe in a corporate setting instead of working in education like I do now. I might target a marketing agency that specializes in helping independent coaches or counselors, maybe education institutions, because I have a background in coaching and education, and leverage my education background as I'm making this transition. Some applicants might not have an education background, and that's how I would stand out. And by the way, if you're filling gaps, you're trying to gain new education, certifications, experience, everyone can access LinkedIn Learning with a library card for free. It used to be just available to students and alumni from universities who paid into it, but now everyone can access it with a library card. Okay, so let's move to my next point. If you remember anything at all from this episode, remember this. What is your bridge? If you are making an industry shift, you need to find the connection between your current skills and experience and this new role or industry that you are transitioning into. What's your selling point? What can you leverage to make yourself stand out, even if your path in this industry or role isn't linear? If you figure this out and convince a hiring manager why it makes sense that you're making this shift, you're more than halfway there. Okay, just a couple more things. I want to give you some resume tips, and then we'll get into the final advice that I have for you all and how our topic today connects to overnight sensations in music. If you're changing industries, your resume has to stand out. It's the only way. Yes, I mentioned the power of connections. Your resume is so important too. When I went into the trenches, did some field research as if I were changing industries myself, here's how I turned my career coaching resume into one that's geared towards content development and creative roles. First, I ordered my experience by relevance. I moved my degrees to the bottom of my resume instead of at the top because personally, my experience is more relevant to creative roles than my formal education is. I also completely scrapped my original bullet points. I pasted them into ChatGPT and then asked ChatGPT to keep the information in my original bullet points while tailoring them to a job description that I was interested in this new industry. But before I did that, I made a bulleted list for ChatGPT of the keywords that I wanted to include in this new resume and the areas where I specifically thought my experience was a good fit for the role. So I fed it the information and made sure that everything it said I had actually done in my role, making sure that all the information it gave back to me was actually true. And just a reminder that keywords are extremely important. Your resume needs to get through the ATS system. And so figure out how you can still stay true to what you actually did in your role, but include those keywords that you'll need to get it through the ATS and in front of a hiring manager. Next, I went to the experience section of someone in this new field on LinkedIn, and I noticed that their tone and the skills they highlighted and their bullet points in their LinkedIn experience section were different from mine. You can also find the real resumes of people in the industry. Again, reach out to connections on LinkedIn, contact alumni from your college if you have that resource, ask for advice, and be very forward and direct that you are making an industry shift. We are not moving slowly here. We are being direct to get this information that we need, while also being polite and not just asking for something without offering any value in return. Networking is about genuine connections. If you are transactional, that's not going to give you great results. So approach it being very polite, very appreciative, and offering them something in return. This is the final key. Your resume needs to look like the resume of a professional who's in that industry. Your tone and the way you describe your experiences should communicate that you already belong there. Don't hope that employers will see potential and throw you a bone. You are here because you earned it and because you are a versatile, dynamic professional and you already know you're going to do amazing things in this new industry. So don't use language like, I am aspiring to make this industry transition. You're saying, I'm ready to make this transition. The connection that I made at the conference, Andrea, she also confirmed that if I were to make an industry shift, I would really need to change the language that I use to describe my experience. And that's the biggest thing that I would need to change on my resume. So changing your tone, your language, and the skills you highlight on your resume is truly so critical. So now let's say you've crafted a kick-ass resume. You're truly going to put out way more applications because it's less likely that you'll get responses back given the amount of competition in the current market. For the jobs that you really, really freaking love, you would absolutely love to work at that company. You're going to put lots of thought into spending no more than 2 hours on any given application. You have to have a limit and a boundary, whether that's tailoring the resume, writing the cover letter, actually hitting apply. 2 hours should be your max because since you're trying to turn out a lot of applications here, you have to set boundaries. So find your process and become an application machine. Your cover letter, however, is the document that can really make you stand out when you're making an industry shift. This is a blank slate. You can write anything in a cover letter. And especially if there's not a direct relationship or connection between the experience on your resume and the job description, your cover letter is a chance to spell it out for the employer why you're making this transition, why your experience is a fit for this role and makes sense for them. Now, while I was at this conference, the National Association of Colleges and Employers in Philadelphia this summer, I asked recruiters on the other side of hiring if they read cover letters. And because job applications are up 21% right now and job postings are down 15% across the board, the resounding answer was honestly no, we're not really reading cover letters. But they did confirm that when a candidate is making an industry shift, a cover letter is really helpful for them to understand the why. So submit a cover letter if you're changing industries. Again, still be an application machine. I hate to say those words, but you need to get your applications out. In your cover letter, again, this is a chance to explain why you're making this transition. So remember, frame it like I'm ready to make this transition, not I'm aspiring to make this transition, and get your bridge solid. So you should know exactly what your value is and your connection to this field. And again, spell it out for them. And that bridge is going to remain pretty consistent in all of the cover letters that you submit. So have this language ready to go around these 2 key points, and then ask ChatGPT to tailor your letter to the specific role. If you can do this right, you're probably looking at maybe 30 minutes spent on each cover letter and then apply. And I would say that would be a great goal to have. For companies you're really interested in, I would also craft your email pitch. So how do overnight sensations apply to breaking into a new industry? Overnight sensations exist because one day no one knew about them, and the next day they blew up. That doesn't mean there were not months and years of hard work and challenges that they overcame before they hit a point where they were good enough and prepared enough to be discovered. Overnight sensations don't just blow up by accident. It's because they've prepared for this moment, honing their craft to a point where they are so good that people are finally able to recognize them for how amazing they are. Anyone can be discovered overnight for one TikTok video that they post that goes viral. But unless that quality is consistent, they're just a one-hit wonder. True overnight sensations just become, well, sensations. And once they do, you almost always hear them talking about how long it took them to be discovered and to get to this point. You can and you will break into a new industry. It's happening all the time, especially right now in the current market, especially if you're looking to make a change and this is something you've been dreaming about. But remember, this is just the beginning, which is so exciting. You may not know when, but your big break will come. And until then, you just have to work hard and be patient. I hope you found today's episode helpful. Career Composer will be back with a new episode every other Monday. And if today's topic really resonated with you, I hope you'll consider leaving a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. Reviews will really help this podcast grow so I can keep bringing you the career content that you want. You can also email me at careercomposerpodcast@gmail.com with feedback or questions because I want to give you the career advice that you actually want to hear. That's all for now. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time and have a great day.